Sorry, it's just a little cold. How's it going, everyone? That was cringy. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I am going to preview the matchup between Chelsea and West Brom that is happening tomorrow. Today is Friday for me, and for this one, I'm kind of excited. To be honest, I think this might be the game that Chelsea is able to break out. This thing's kind of choking me. Able to break out and finally, maybe Timo Werner can finally get in and get his first goal for Chelsea. Havertz just got done getting a hat trick, so hopefully Werner is next. And I think this might be the game where we can really take advantage of a struggling opponent and take them down. Because the problem was last season is these smaller teams who were, going on a downward spiral, they fixed that against us and had a good game against us, which gave them confidence to get out of their little rut. Now, we can't allow that. We have to come in and really just take over this game, and that's going to be crucial. Now, to go into some talking points for player news. Now, if we all remember, Christensen had a red card, so of course he's not going to be available for this game. Ziyech still most likely will be out due to his knee injury. Billy Gilmore still out. Marco Van Ginkel still out. Pulisic kind of day-to-day at this point, but honestly, if he's not 100%, I don't want him back. And I know that sucks. It really does. But if he's not 100%, I don't want him back because he's very injury prone, as we've discovered recently. And if he's not 100%, I do not want him back. Now for West Brom, Conor Gallagher, the man, the myth, the legend, on loan with West Brom. However, what this means is he can't play against his parent club. From what I've been able to tell, I haven't found anything saying otherwise. So it seems like he's going to be unable to play against Chelsea, which I think I have him in the subs for my predicted lineup. How did I completely forget? Kieran Gibbs got a red card in their match against Everton. Therefore, he will be serving his 3-match ban, the first one of which will be against Chelsea. Hal Robinson-Kanu. Now, they couldn't figure out whether it was a calf or hamstring injury, but at the same time, I've seen conflicting reports on this one pretty much. I've seen ones that are saying he's fine. I've seen ones saying that he's injured. He's most likely day-to-day and is a maybe, a big maybe for West Brom. For my lineups, aside from Gallagher, which I messed up, I'm not including any of them, even though it's probable that they might play. Who knows? Now, Kamil Grosicki also for West Brom, a lower back injury, and he's a big maybe. From the source I found, they said it was about a 50% chance of him coming back. So it's a big maybe for him. And then Ahmed Higazi with his thigh injury, unlikely. So those are the injuries and suspensions for both sides. Now, their head-to-head record in the last 10 games is actually 6 wins to Chelsea, 3 draws, and then 1 win to West Brom. I like how I say that like it's surprising. Chelsea should be winning a majority of the games, and it just kind of shows where West Brom's been in recent times. Now, the last 3 games for Chelsea, they just had their 6-0 win over Barnsley, in which Havertz scored a very nice hat trick. Tammy Abraham had a really good outing, and overall, it was just a very good game. Thiago Silva made his debut, and Chilwell made his debut. Like I mentioned, Havertz had a hat trick. Abraham had, honestly, an amazing, a really good performance. However, it was Barnsley, so it's a team we should put away like that. But at the end of the day, it's still a team we need to beat 6-0, And then second to last game was obviously the one against Liverpool. And then before that was our 3-1 win against Brighton, which was tougher than it needed to be. And I'll give it go back real quick. I'll give it to Barnsley. They actually played quite well for being, a lower side or whatever. They played some interesting football, some good counterattacking football, and they look dangerous at certain points, especially in that first half. Now, the last 3 for West Brom, they just had their Carabao Cup matchup against Brentford. They lost on penalties. They went into penalties 2-2 and fell 5-4 to Brentford. Then in the Premier League, the game before that, they lost against Everton 5-2. And before that, they had their 3-0 win against Harrogate, who are in League 2, who they should be beating. That was their first, that was in the second round of the Carabao Cup. And they were in that round, so naturally had to play against a much lower side. West Brom, and actually the one before that was their match against Leicester City, 3-0. So in the Premier League, they're not doing hot at all. They've conceded 8 in 2 games, and that's why I think Chelsea need to take advantage and use this game, please, as an opportunity to come out big and really explode on offense. We need this confidence booster. Now, some thoughts here. Chelsea need to dominate the game, as I keep saying, and especially when it comes to possession. We need to control the game. We need to control it from the midfield up. We should make it a game where our defense doesn't even need to touch the ball as much. Honestly, we need to control the game from the midfield up. We just need to dominate the middle of the pitch and then get as many counterattacks in as possible. Like I mentioned, West Brom just have not had a good start to the season, compared to their other compatriots who also came up from the Championship, Leeds and Fulham. Leeds have gotten off to an interesting start. They scored 3 goals against Liverpool at Anfield. They've scored 7 goals in their first game. They also conceded 7. Fulham have lost their first 2 games, but have looked, decent. Okay. Maybe, you might believe that they survive. West Brom, though, have not looked up to scratch. They've not really shown much at all. And Chelsea needs to take advantage of this rut that they're in. Now, this is our chance to really start perfecting the fast electric counterattacks that we've seen. Our ability to be creative on the counter is very, very exciting to watch. And this is our game to try and, use that creativity and those fast counterattacks. We need to practice them in this game. And I don't mean that, I'm not saying this game is a gimme. But I think that Chelsea needs to take advantage of West Brom, who are struggling right now. Simple as that. We struggled a lot with that last season, taking advantage of lower opponents. And no, if we want to seriously do anything this season, we need to take out the lower opponents, especially when they're not in a good position. We need to also, when it comes to those fast counterattacks, release a Werner, please. I know we did a bit of a better job against Liverpool, but when Werner's making those runs, even if he's offsides, just do it, because he will make something happen with his pace. He will outspeed that defense. He is so fast. He's so incredibly fast that you just release him, please. Release him. I wouldn't be surprised if West Brom do end up playing a high line, much like Liverpool, because what that did against Chelsea when Liverpool were playing a high line is it did help to keep Werner at bay, because he couldn't, take that early run. He couldn't take that early step. He had to wait until the ball was passed to move, or he could be caught offside. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if West Brom try and play high line. The question is how long can they keep that up? Because if a ball goes in behind, Werner's most likely going to outspeed them before they can even get there. So this is counting on your defense being fast enough to keep up with a ball over or anything like that. And I don't think they'll try and rely on that. It'll be interesting to see how they play their defense. I could see them playing a low block like a lot of lower teams tend to do. But I do want to see them try something different to try and challenge Chelsea. Something unique that'll give Chelsea a run for their money. No, I want Chelsea to struggle, to be honest. I want them to come out with something that's not park the bus, but something unique and different. Now, like I mentioned earlier, hold West Brom from getting past the midfield. We need to get our own high press going to the point where our defense is like sitting on the half line and just having a good time. Bars. We need to keep that high press. We need to get that high press going and just keep it in there in our attacking third, their defensive third. Simple as that. We need to keep it in their defensive third as much as possible. Now, leading into my lineups, we did just sign Edouard Mendy. So this is regarding the lineups now. Edouard Mendy, barring a check for the coronavirus, could and really probably should start against West Brom. And if he's not ready, then Caballero should get the start. For me, Kepa should not start. He does not deserve it at all. And no. So to get right into it, for me personally, I think Mendy, should he get through his check, Mendy will be in goal. Chilwell will make his debut in the Premier League for Chelsea at left back. Thiago Silva will make his debut for Chelsea in the Premier League. Center back, left center back. I want to see Tomori start alongside Thiago Silva. Let me know what you think about that, because could very easily be Kurt Zouma. But honestly, Tomori's been very impressive, and I want to see more of him this season so he gets more time to develop. At right back, Reece James, and you might be questioning, where's Azpilicueta? Well, he's on the bench for me. I think this would probably be our strongest defense until it's not. And I don't think Aspi is going to be a part of that for long. We need to start transitioning in these younger defenders. And I mean, Thiago still was there, but he's very experienced, and for being 36, he's still got it. So he very much deserves to be in our starting defense, I believe. Let me know what you think. Should Aspi be in our starting lineup? I personally don't think so right now. In midfield, I'm going with a 4-2-3-1, by the way. In midfield, in the two holding positions, Conte and Jorginho. At left attacking mid, Mason Mount. Attacking mid, Mateo Kovacic. At right attacking mid, Kai Havertz. And then our lone striker, Timo frickin' Werner. Now, I still think the 4-2-3-1 will benefit us for now, and I might make a video later talking about how the 4-2-3-1 could honestly benefit us throughout this entire season, even if we get our wingers back. I think it could be something that really benefits us. I'll probably go over it in another video on its own. Now for our bench, Kepa, I feel like will likely be on the bench regardless of whoever starts. I don't know. I honestly can't tell Lampard whether he's done with Kepa or he's not. It's so difficult with that guy because he's been keeping it under wraps. And I think regardless, Kepa will probably end up being on the bench because Lampard doesn't seem to want to give up on him. However, I also wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being Caballero / Mendy, whoever, doesn't start. But I do think that Kepa will likely be on the bench, and again, I won't be surprised. But for now, I have Kepa on the bench. Then Azpilicueta, Kurt Zouma, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Ross Barkley / Callum Hudson-Odoi. For me, I'd probably go with Callum, but Barkley, I might take off Loftus-Cheek, to be perfectly honest with you. But then again, he does need some game time after coming back from that long injury. It's a bit of a toughie, but for me, I'd probably choose Callum over Barkley. And then Tammy Abraham because of his good appearance in the Carabao Cup. And then, of course, Olivier Giroud, the man, the myth, the legend, the French phenom. That's what I like to call him. Now for West Brom, I went with a similar lineup to their game against Everton. I went ahead and picked a 5-4-1. John Stone in goal. Left wing back, I said Ivanovic would come in for the suspended Kieran Gibbs. The man, the myth, another man, myth, legend, Branislav Ivanovic, who used to play for Chelsea, of course. I could see him starting, giving him a chance to start. O'Shea, Bartley, and Ajayi, the center back trio. Furlong at right wing back. Darren Ghana at left mid. Sawyers right mid. Darren Ghana left mid. Sawyers and Livermore center mid duo. Pereira right mid, and Robinson up top, the lone striker. And for subs, I wasn't sure between the keepers. I've seen them rotate a lot recently, so I just went ahead and said Bond, but I also put Button right there, but probably Bond because he seems to be the more consistent one, at least on their bench. Hegazi, Kipra, I freaking put Gallagher there. I'm sorry, it's in the thing anyway. I wasn't sure of any of the other midfield, so I checked. And I mean, on the chance that my sources were wrong and Conor Gallagher can play against Chelsea, I'm just going to leave him there for now. However, if not, then I'm going to go ahead and go with Peltier. He seems to be the only other midfielder available that's not on the bench, injured or not suspended, but in the starting lineup. Now, moving on from that, Phillips, Field, Austin / Kyle Edwards. I did put Kyle Edwards on there, or Charlie Austin. I could very easily see either of them being on the bench. I don't see either of them starting. I think Robinson will probably still get the start. I went more based off of their game against Everton than anything else. Now, ultimately, I do see this game being a bit of a blowout to the Chelsea side. I said a 4-0 scoreline, which might be a little harsh on West Brom, but they really haven't shown too much. I mean, they did score 2 goals against Everton, but ultimately they got ran into the ground. And that's why I don't think they stand too much of a chance against Chelsea, assuming we show up. We have to show up. It's going to not be a game where we don't show up. Please. We need to show up. We need to ball out and perfect our electric counterattacking football. We need to perfect it. Well, not perfect it, but, sharpen it in this game and work on a high press. I think that would really benefit the team to work on a high press and, push the teams that we face back, which allows us more time, more space, more creativity. Oh, that's so exciting, dude. This team gets me excited. It really does, because they do have a high ceiling. They have a high ceiling. We just gotta get there. We just gotta keep working, gotta keep grinding. We gotta get there. Yeah, so I do think that this game is gonna end up one-sided towards Chelsea. I said 4-0 scoreline. As I already mentioned, this is the game that we need to explode. This is it. Plain and simple. Okay? Woo! I'm excited to watch the game tomorrow. I've been waiting all week, and I hope you are too. Let me know your thoughts on my potential lineups. Am I way off with West Brom? That would make sense. Do you think Kepa gets any love either in the starting lineup? More likely not. Hopefully not. Or on the bench? Do you think Aspie, again, should be in the starting lineup? And if you think so, then over who? Do you think Callum Hudson-Odoi should be on the bench, or should Barkley be on the bench? Or do you want to take Ruben off, or do you want to take Giroud off? What are your thoughts on that? And again, I just want to see a good game from Chelsea. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave that bell on so you're notified when I upload. Go check out the socials. Twitter is @BlueHermit. My Instagram is @BlueHermit_. Please share the socials with all your friends, family, everybody you know. Let the people know Blue Hermit's where it's at. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.